Whenever the Zemundas go to war, they capture few men and take them back to their kingdom as captives. The men are locked up in a secret courtyard that is heavily guarded in Queen Zakara's palace. It is these men that are made to mate with the women of Zemunda occasionally. In what seemed like a second, the tiger was shot thrice by another person and it went down. Zyra raised her head, and that was when she saw the person who had shot at the tiger and saved her. It was a young and fine, muscular man. He helped Zyra up and checked to see if she was okay. The young man introduced himself as Dakhim.
Welcome to Iyagba's Epic Tales. The title of today's story is
Zyra and the Kingdom of Only Women. Once upon a time, in a very little but powerful kingdom called Zemunda, there lived a girl called Zyra. Zyra is a young, beautiful woman and is about 26 years old. Zyra is also a twin, and the name of her twin sister is Zika. Zyra is the younger of both girls because she was born 16 minutes after Zika was born. Both girls were daughters of Queen Zakara, the queen and mighty ruler of Zemunda. This also means that Zyra and Zika are princesses and heir of the Zemunda kingdom. The kingdom of Zemunda, though very small, was known for its mighty battle prowess and filled with skilled warriors. Other than the fact that Zemunda was a kingdom with skilled warriors, there was something peculiar about the kingdom and its people. It was the fact that Zemunda was a kingdom with only women. Yes, only women. And that means they are warriors also. There are no husbands or any male, just women and their children, which of course were female. The people of Zemunda are not allowed to have many children. Most of them had only 2 or 3 at most. According to their law, it is mandatory that the first child of every woman be given out as a warrior if and when the woman have a second child, and it is entirely optional if the second child wants to be part of the warriors also or not. This rule was no exception for the queen, as Queen Zakara gave out Zika, who is the first among the twin girls and her first daughter, to be part of the warriors. Queen Zakara was also a great warrior herself. She was strong and fierce, and Zika was no different, as Queen Zakara trained her daughters and other warriors to be very good warriors. Queen Zakara was the chief commander of the warriors of Zemunda, and she made Zika, her daughter, the second in command. Zyra, though not a warrior, is also skilled in battle and sometimes joins her mother, sister, and the other warriors to battle when it is required. The Zemundans lived far away up in a mountain, far from other kingdoms and settlements. Occasionally, the Zemundans are being attacked by warriors from different kingdoms. This is because the mountain where the Zemundas dwell has precious stones deposited beneath it, which is also part of what makes up their wealth. And these other villages and kingdoms made efforts to loot these precious stones beneath the Zemunda mountain. But they were always defeated, as the Zemunda warriors were exceptionally great warriors. People feared them and wondered how a kingdom and warriors made up of only women could possess this great might. Whenever the Zemundas go to war, they capture few men and take them back to their kingdom as captives. The men are locked up in a secret courtyard that is heavily guarded in Queen Zakara's palace. It is these men that are made to mate with the women of Zemunda occasionally, so that they could produce children and ensure that the Zemunda tribe does not go into extinct. Every female child born in the Zemunda kingdom is celebrated, but the male children are taken outside the mountain and Zemunda kingdom and left in the open to their fates. Somehow, Zyra felt different and was uncomfortable about the way her people, the Zemundas, do things. She had grown up to meet it and asked questions, and was told that that is how it has been since the time of her grandmother. In Zemunda, men are considered as evil species and gender, and not one to be gotten close to. Zyra was confused and had lots of questions in her head. If they are evil and should not be gone close to, why do we need them to produce children and continue our race? She thought, and had actually asked her mother, Queen Zakara, and her grandmother, Azania, who is still alive. Grandmother Azania was quite very old. She had ruled the Zemunda tribe for many years as queen before handing over to her daughter Zakara. Zyra's mother and grandmother always dismissed her question whenever she asked, and this question has been left unanswered. The Zemundas had just been to war and won the battle like they had always done, and as usual, they brought men who they had taken as captives with them. The men were being led into the secret courtyard in the palace when Zyra spotted Dakhim. She became uneasy and sought for how to free him from her people and kingdom. Dakhim is a young man whom Zyra has secretly been seeing for some time now. For some months now, when no one was watching, Zyra would sneak out of the Zemunda mountain through a secret path and down the valley to take a look at the outside world. It is on one of those escapades that she encountered a wild animal, a tiger that was about to attack her. Zyra was scared even as she brought out her bow and arrow to shoot at the tiger, which was about to pounce on her. But luckily for her, in what seemed like a second, the tiger was shot thrice by another person and it went down. Zyra raised her head, and that was when she saw the person who had shot at the tiger and saved her. It was a young and fine, muscular man. He helped Zyra up and checked to see if she was okay. The young man introduced himself as Dakhim. Since then, Dakhim and Zyra became friends and had secretly been meeting outside the mountain. Zyra found out that contrary to what her grandmother and mother had told her about the male gender, Dakhim was not evil. He was soft-spoken, kind and nice. And from the stories and folktales he told her, she came to learn that there were other men who were as good as him in the world, and that anybody could be good or evil, be it male or female. On that day, Dakhim and Zyra were in their usual secret spots when they heard the sound of the returning warriors of Zemunda from afar. Zyra quickly asked Dakhim to hide until the warriors all got into the mountain, while she sneaked back into the mountain. But she was shocked to have seen that they found Dakhim and took him as part of the captives. In the next few days, Zyra did everything she could to try to distract the guards guarding the courtyard and free Dakhim, but all her attempts were unsuccessful. She spoke to her twin sister Zyra to help her, but Zyra refused to help her. Frustrated, Zyra comforted her mother, Queen Zakara, and begged that she freed Dakhim and let him go. But as expected, the queen would hear nothing of it. "I am in love with him. He is not evil. Please let him go," she cried and revealed. But all her pleas fell on deaf ears. Zyra refused to eat nor take water for days, and one day she fell sick and fainted. After their local doctor was called and she revived her, she announced that Zyra was with child. "When did you go into the courtyard and without my knowledge and permission?" her mother asked angrily, thinking that Zyra had slept with one of the men in the courtyard as per their tradition. But Zyra told them that she had not mated with any of the men in the courtyard like they intend to subject her to in the future, but revealed that she was carrying Dakhim's child whom she loves. She threatened to kill herself if they do not release Dakhim and allow her go with him to his kingdom. Queen Zakara and everyone ignored Zyra and took lightly her threats until 4 days later, when they found Zyra in her room lying unconscious. She had slit her right wrist with a knife. Her grandmother Azania found her. Luckily, Zyra was rescued before she passed on. She and the baby she was carrying saved. "We love you, Zyra, but what you have requested cannot be granted because it will lead to your own destruction," Grandmother Azania said. "Men do not love. They do not have love in them. They are deceivers and betrayers," Grandmother Azania continued. "Grandmother, mother, you all are mistaken. The male gender is not evil," Zyra responded. "Only if you have ever been with a man and loved one, then you will understand how I feel and what I am saying," Zyra said again. "I have been with a man before and have loved a man before," Grandmother Azania said. Then she began her story. Please look out for our next video where we will bring you the concluding part of the story. I promise you would find this story quite interesting. Thank you for watching. See you in our next video. Bye.